Welcome to the daily meditation. Take a moment in preparation as you breathe without force nor discomfort. Note the ease that the breath shall find the mind as it eases down without force nor discomfort. Go within and spend a few moments reflecting upon your objective. Now adjust the breath by taking the opportunity to move the breath easily through the lungs. Note the lower, mid and upper lungs responding, whereby one can complement the exchange with correct spinal alignment, meaning adjust the neck, the mid and lower back where appropriate. Then find a position that shall hold you in good stead for the practice. The question you must ask is, do you believe in miracles? As whatever that your mind has accepted shall have an influence upon your life. Now go within and find an inner smile. As you choose to allow the breath to move effortlessly through the entire body. Lower back, mid-spine, and upper back. Relaxing those arms, those legs, the torso. As you observe the ease that the breath flows through the body without force. Now let's count mentally back together as I work with you from 10 to 1, reinforcing a greater sense of balance with each count. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 1. Go within now and spend a few moments reflecting. Now what if you chose to adjust the light, whereby you can begin to focus within and notice the rainbow colors that flow through your mind in inner peace. Closing the door from the past, thoughts of influence, and opening the mind to unlimited potential that awaits you now. Relax the jaw. If I was to suggest to add freedom to the forehead, could one easily relax the facial muscles? And as you move from the distant to the closer state of thought, what do you hear? Let's say you could hear a voice in the distance. Is it in the distance? Or is it omnipresent? Now, what if you were to place your hands in a position of comfort? Relax those shoulders. Now, for the next few moments, imagine that you are observing the plan of your life that you're choosing to embark upon from this moment forward. Let's say, as always, you could step forward 12 months from now. What sort of year passed due to your influence? From 2022 and beyond. Whether you went back in time or forward in time, trust that your mind is constantly reviewing interactions. Be positive. Relax those limbs. Again, let's move from the count of 10 down to the count of 1. As though each count influences the mind to be far more relaxed and far more attuned to your pure nature than it was previously. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Let's say someone was to ask as to what color the sky is. What would be the first word that finds you? Would it be grey, pink, purple, blue, orange, or black? Now, how do you know that the sky reflects a specific color? For if you observe the sky, you would notice the color constantly adjusts. But yet, one may simply assume during the day that it is blue, and at night it may be darker. Let's say someone was to ask what color were the leaves on a tree. Would you say green? Gold? Red? Orange? Now, what if one could find the engineer that once upon a time set this cycle into motion? What if you were to interact with the designer? Somewhere along the timeline of this universe, something triggered the sky to be the color it is today, and the leaves to exist, and for you to have the opportunity via your senses to have this experience. So the question is, have you ever pondered as to whom, what, and why? And have you chosen to go beyond pondering, whereby you are open enough to have personal experience? This is the aim of meditation. Does it matter whether there's a northern and southern hemisphere, whether there's an equator, tropic of Cancer, tropic of Capricorn? Does it matter whether there's north, east, south, or west? How shall that influence your life with greater clarity? Let's say you were to review your mind over the last 24 hours. What was the main thing? Was it about the sky, the trees, the equator, the planet, the solar system? Or were your mind simply occupied with what you consider as your daily routine in thinking and interactions? So go within and find inspiration now. And be the best support that you can find for yourself and the life that awaits you. Bring on board an inner smile. In the knowing that you have influence upon your entire thinking process, whether you're aware of it or not. But once you're aware of it, imagine the refinement that your mind shall have upon the outcome. Let's say you lifted a feather. Would you expect it to feel the weight of a brick? But let's say the brick was made of styrofoam. Would you be surprised when you lifted it up? And the feather was made with lead. Note the assumptions that one has the moment one perceives an object and preconceived beliefs. Now, could you in any way imagine the intelligence that once upon a time designed the feather? Imagine that. Somewhere in the timeline of evolution, something triggered deep within the DNA profile for certain animals and birds and reptiles to exist. Shall you spend the rest of this life pondering upon just daily routine in thinking, or will you choose to give your mind greater relevance in asking the deep questions of what is the purpose of this existence? Let's say within this year, the months to come, you shall achieve everything that you could ever have dreamt of and more. What would you do from then on? If you achieved everything plus more that you could ever imagine it was possible, many would say, well, then they could relax and enjoy the rest. But is that possible? If you had achieved everything, how would you occupy your mind? Go within and reflect upon your state of being, not just as a physical being, but as an emotional, mental, spiritual intelligence. And perhaps you may have yet realized that you're far more than a spiritual being as well. Go within and explore the extended aspects of your divine nature. And let's say you were exploring your divine nature. What does that mean to you, divine nature? If you came in contact with a spiritual being, would you know it's a spiritual being? Would you expect them to look like a spiritual being? Let's say you were to come in contact with the creator of the universe. How would you recognize that intelligence that's far beyond the human concept of time and space? Would you have a preconceived idea what the creator of the universe would technically feel like, see, visualize, sense, and so on? If you saw your mind, would you recognize it? Would you expect your mind to look like you? Take a moment and give yourself permission to relax, whereby you choose to allow your mind freedom in distillation, as it brings to you clarity, deeper understanding of whom you truly are. Do you have to think of a smile before you smile? Do you have to think of positive thoughts forms to feel inspired? Let's say somewhere in the timeline of your existence, something triggered you to feel so uncomfortable that your mind continued to reflect upon it. Why would you continue to reflect on something that did not make you feel comfortable? Yet, this is the average human being. Wouldn't it be better to remind yourself you're empowering and you shall never allow yourself to ever interact with such vibrations again? That's far more constructive. Isn't it interesting? The average human being fears the unknown, but rarely recognizes the empowerment that exists within themselves. Let's say you were walking along the shoreline and you enjoy a good swim along your favorite beach, but yet you began to notice fins moving through the waters close to the shoreline. Would you still go in? Is it interesting that the human being has been programmed to have specific beliefs automatically in reflex? This is called survival. If you're seeking to go deeper within the mind, you must go beyond the survivalistic instincts that find you. You must go beyond your fears. It doesn't mean you should simply just dive in the water if there were fins in the ocean. First, you must understand the territory that you're choosing to interact with. Then, you shall find that you can enjoy the environment in peace, as many would attest to the same. Now see your daily routine in life just as if you're walking on the shoreline. Every time an obstacle finds you in discomfort, imagine that's like a fin moving by on the shoreline. But from a human perspective, one just assumes that one will avoid it, not realizing one's affected by it. Can you honestly state to yourself over the last 24 hours there was not a single thought of discomfort, fear, anger, jealousy, pride, vanity? Can you only state that? Let's extend it to 48 hours, 72 hours. Can you only state over the last 7 days not a single thought found you that was discomforting? If so, well done. You're part of the very rare individuals who have begun to fully grasp their total state of well-being on the spiritual and beyond aspect of being. Let's say you would go back in the last 12 months. Could you honestly state to yourself in the last 12 months you felt complete peace? Again, if that has been the case, then you're truly very rare, as you've already achieved the state of full enlightenment. But trust that that was possible. It was available to you whether you chose to act upon it or not. Now let's move forward to the next week, month, and year that awaits you. So can you now make a commitment to yourself that from today forward, at least for the next 12 months, under no circumstance shall you allow yourself to feel anything but joy, love, and upliftment? Doesn't matter what occurs. Put it to the test. So these are the tests and trials that every soul must go through if one seeking full illumination. First you begin by one thought, then you add it to the second, and before long 1 minute has passed. You refine into 2 minutes. You add it to your dream state. Before long 24 hours has passed. Gradually gather momentum, and don't be surprised with positive momentum becomes an automatic reflex. You must ask yourself what it is that you're seeking. Then, are you fully committed and acting in a manner that shall give you the best outcome? If so, then these words that I've simply shared with you shall not just fade in the distance of your subconscious, they shall have vigor and power. The next 12 months await your directive. So the next time you find yourself getting angry, upset, or discomfort in any form, trust that is just a test to see whether you are mature enough to move to the next level, or whether you need to go back and replicate it once again, just like a student that needs to replicate the year. Simple question. Are you worthy? Go within. Isn't it interesting to note that every human being has excuses as to why they do what they do? Let's say you were to meet a wise being and that person just radiated joy. Would they make an excuse as to why they're joyous? Very important question. But let's say you meet someone that's angry, sad, or upset. I guarantee you they will tell you why they're angry, sad, or upset. Isn't that interesting? If you were to meet a wise being that is simply naturally joyous, they would not need to give you a reason why, because that is who they are. But someone that is not yet at that level of evolution will always give you a reason as to why. Whether they don't like the weather, whether someone caused irritation, or something occurred in their day that ruined their day. In actual fact, that's not a fact. They ruined their own day. They just make an excuse because they've not yet realized that they're causing their own discomforts or joy. But one who has realized who they are does not need to make any excuses, as they're joyous in all circumstances. Now, if you believe in the greater over self in evolution, every day is one less day that you shall have to be separated from that self. Imagine that. If you truly believe in an immortal being, that whom you are, that you're on your way to full awakening, should you not celebrate that every day passes one less day that you're separated from yourself? So how can you state that you are on your journey to elimination if your days are filled with sadness, stress, and misery? One who's on the path finds greater joy with each day that complements the previous. That is why it is easy to see the sun shining in comparison to the darkness of the night. If you're seeking truth and you're living the truth, you shall be a beam of light in the darkest of time and space. Be empowered now. Do not waste a single thought on limiting and slowing your evolution. Everything that's happened to your life thus far has been exactly as you had planned it before you were born. The question is, are you willing to continue to remain on automatic? Are you willing to admit that you're ready to take full control and speed the process? Very simple. Go with it. You can achieve full mind awakening and illumination now. You do not have to wait for decades or a lifetime. You can achieve it now. But the question is, will you act on it? Let's say you found out that you only had 5 minutes left in your physical body. What would you do? Would you waste it? Would you panic? Do you have to wait till the last 5 minutes to begin to remember that you've had eternity to get to where you are? You are perfect. One who has recognized the true reality of themselves would celebrate knowing that in the next 5 minutes they shall be liberated. But that's a rare being. Rarely shall you find a human being that celebrates a transition from this world to the next. There have been numerous books written on the subject. If you're interested, there's a wonderful author called Helen Kubler-Ross, 5 stages of passing. Until they reach the last stage is called acceptance. So do not go through the denial, anger. Find inner peace within yourself in acceptance. Now you are perfect. You can choose to spend the rest of eternity moving in the quagmire of the torrid of the cycles of birth and death. Or you can choose to make this birth in true validation of your true omnipresent self. Go within. Never allow the past to influence your future unless the past is empowering. And whatever's occurred in your past, it has empowered you. Do not allow it to disempower you due to your human traits in fear, doubt, uncertainty, and anger. You are living a life that is, from your perspective, reality. Do not waste that until you finally awaken from that dream of illusions. You are perfect. Be the best that you can be today, and tomorrow build upon that. Do not become complacent. Remember, every moment passed is one less moment you shall have the opportunity to find greatness. Do not waste this birth. Let us together assist each other in creating such a profound resonance and harmonic attunement that we are each assisting each other in greater understanding and awakening. Now, with a loving smile and an open heart, feel grounded as you deepen your breath. Now, reclaim those hands as always as they are your arms. Move the fingers and lovingly, when appropriate, with pure intention, place one of both palms upon the heart in respect for the sojourn thus far and every cell that has allowed you the opportunity of a human birth and experience to date. And trust that the cells that shall replicate in the future shall welcome you with greater insight due to the fact that your mind shall be far more awakened in realization. And until we interact again for our next practice, remember, tomorrow and yesterday does not exist, as every moment is the only moment that exists for you. Be present in this moment. Be realized, be awakened, and be truthful in honor of whom you are in pure integrity. Your life has value. Let the divine light shine through you, and never again shall your mind ever be caught in darkness of night of ignorance. Be love, be light, but truly live in inner peace, in upliftment, in the joys of liberation.